What is up, guys? It is Jake from Quad Hunting, and this is this week's Lions Vikings Thanksgiving Day game preview.
Welcome to Detroit.
So this is the second meeting between the Lions and the Vikings this season. The first game went to the Lions when the Lions went to Minnesota and played in Minnesota's brand new stadium, which is fantastic, by the way. It looks amazing. I love the look of it. They came out with a 22-16 win in overtime after Golden Tate made a toe-tapping, threw a guy down, and did a flip into the end zone to win the game for the Lions in overtime. So this week we're going into almost a totally different game. The Vikings at that point were in the middle of a losing skid. They've since come out of that and have won their first game last weekend against the Cardinals, which could very well have wild card implications in it. And then the Lions, on the other hand, have won 5 of their last 6. They're kind of rolling right now. Still, every game they've won has only been by 7 points. It's a little concerning. I'd love to see the Lions come out, get a lead, maintain it, build it, and end the game comfortably to where not every Sunday should be a heart attack. But yeah, so this week it's it's in Ford Field on Thanksgiving, Thursday night game, or Thursday noon game, new 12:30 kickoff. But so this video is coming out early. But this week it's a little different because the Lions are now getting healthy in some spots. We went into that game very injured. We were missing a lot of key players. I think it was one of the games Slay missed, or he got hurt during it, and then Ansah was not in there, and now we have Ansah's coming back more healthy. He looked better against the Jaguars where he didn't get a sack. Still hasn't gotten a sack on the season, but he was creating pressure, collapse in the pocket, making Blake Bortles uncomfortable, which is definitely something you need to do with Sam Bradford. I'll get into that more later. But DeAndre Levy could maybe make his second debut of the season after he got hurt in the first game of the year and hasn't played since. He's been a sore spot for some Lions fans. A lot of Lions fans thinks he's just kind of stealing the money from the Fords, he's getting paid not to play, that kind of thing. But looks like he could be making returns sooner rather than later. Brandon Pettigrew practiced for the first time this week. Not saying he's going to play, but they're starting to get healthy, and they're starting to see more players come back, which is always great. Our defense needs it huge. But we're going to start off on the offensive side of the ball, keys to winning. The Lions need to get a consistent Matt Stafford out there. Not that he hasn't been inconsistent, but last week he did look a little more pedestrian, his stats weren't insane. Kind of bloated by the end of the second quarter and then the end of the fourth quarter where he really turned it on and led the team to the win. But they need a Stafford that's going to be consistent throughout the whole game, not the second quarter and fourth quarter Stafford only. They need to come out hot, they need to stay hot, and they need to build a lead and keep continuing to build it. The run game needs to do something. Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the run game was dreadful. I know the Jaguars have a decent defense, but the Vikings have a good defense, a great defense. And they need to get a run game established to try to help Stafford relieve some of the pressure from him. I know it sucks without Amir Abdullah, who doctors have been really optimistic about, could potentially be back towards the end of the season. But Theo Riddick's not that kind of tackle between the tackles runner, and Dwayne Washington really didn't do anything last week. Maybe that's time where you put Zach Zenner in there more, see what he can do. So they need to get something established in the run game. They need to do something because last week was terrible run game wise. Wide receiver wise, are catching it in a hole. Ebron and Riddick are great at what they do. Ebron's coming out this season, had a great season so far. Theo Riddick is still one of the best pass catching backs in the NFL. But Tate and Jones and Roberts all kind of been lackluster lately. You can say Bolden to an extent, but he's really that clutch third down guy. When you need a third down, Stafford can throw it to him and he fights for it. But Tate and Jones, especially Tate last week, had the fumble, which could have been really costly for the Lions. Ended up not being too costly, but and then Jones they've not produced much the last couple weeks. They've been kind of pedestrian, not even really pedestrian. They've been bad this last couple weeks. Stafford's been relying more on Ebron and Riddick to get his plays through. And it's nice that he can spread the ball out that far. And then I'm saying, Golden Tate and Jones need to step up, and we're still winning, and they say they need to step up. But something needs to change. It's a little worrisome that your top 2 receivers are not getting many catches and many targets at all during the games. Something needs to change there. I don't know exactly what's going on, but something needs to change. So they need to get involved early and often. Ebron's numbers last week were mostly inflated by one catch for 61 yards, but it shouldn't matter. I mean, they need to get it involved early and often, and that'll help Stafford out. That'll help the run game out if they have to play more on the receivers. But the key to all that is to have the offensive line blocking well. Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, both starting, both rookies on the left side. They've been pretty good so far this season. They both did step back a little bit against the Jaguars. But this is the Vikings defense. That's one of the better defenses in the NFL. They need to step up and do some legitimate blocking. Swanson's been playing really well this season. I'm really surprised to see that. I was really worried about him being our center at the beginning of the year. He's coming to his own. He's not an elite center, but he's playing like a good center right now. That's the best you can ask for as of right now. So hopefully he can continue to make progress, step up, and step back up from this disappointing game last week. Warford right now is a little sketchy. He actually did get benched in the Jaguars game, and Laken Tomlinson, who was benched for Graham Glasgow, came in and played a little bit of right guard. This might be Warford's last stay in Detroit, which is gonna, if Tomlinson can play better, I would have no problem plugging Tomlinson in at the right guard and Warford walking, because he had a great rookie year, but the last couple of years he just regressed, injury problems, that kind of thing. So he needs to kind of show the Lions why he needs to stay, why he should stay, why they should give him big bucks. And then Riley Reif kind of locked down that right side again last week. He's the move from left tackle, where he was never a great left tackle, but he wasn't a bad left tackle, to being over at right tackle, where he's proving he can be a good right tackle. That's just been a good move for him career-wise. He's proven the Lions need to kind of fork over some money to pay to keep him there. My only worry is that he's going to want the left tackle money and not right tackle money, because left tackle money's always been better than right tackle money, so you would want the more money. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes this offseason. But moving to the defensive side, keys to winning: defensive line needs to create a rush. They did decent against the Jaguars. They didn't sack Blake Bortles once, but they were making their presence known, which is always a good thing. Ansa was there a couple times. Nagata was making some good moves, and so was Charles. Ashawn Robinson got in the backfield. I remember seeing him a couple times. So they need to get into Sam Bradford's face. This Vikings team is led by their defense, and they just hope their offense doesn't make them too many mistakes to where the game gets out of reach. It's basically how that whole team is built. Defense strong, good enough offense to not lose games is pretty much it. So if you can get get in Bradford's face, you can really make a game a lot more interesting in the Lions' favor. So have him make more mistakes. And their offensive line is not that strong. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries this last year. Bringing some players in and they get injured. So they're like hitting the bottom of the barrel right now, offensive line wise. So that defensive line just needs to get in Bradford's face and torment them, and get that running game contained. They did pretty well in the first meeting, but that was the first meeting. This is now. Things can definitely change. So they need to contain the run again and make Bradford try to win the game. That brings us to the linebackers. Last week, tight ends didn't really burn us as bad as I thought they would. I thought Julius Thomas and Mercedes Lewis would burn us more. They got one good playoff with Mercedes Lewis in the beginning of the game, and then tight ends were pretty much shut down the rest of the game. They had 4 more catches for, I think, 12 yards, something like that, something low crazy like that. So this week, though, it's Kyle Rudolph, and he is a lot better than Julius Thomas or Mercedes Lewis. He's a lot better. He could burn the lines easily. He's probably one of the best offensive players on the Vikings. So you need to lock him down. With Josh Bynes wasn't here the first time we played the Vikings. He knows the system better, and he was a better player, honestly, than Van Noy was at the time, or Antoine Williams is. But we need him to try to lock down. He's slower. He's not, but you need to. Bynes is slower, but we need someone to try to lock down those tight ends, and that's going to start with the linebackers. Tahir Whitehead is not a guy you want to put back in pass coverage. He is strictly a stop-the-run tackler. So you want to see some of that stuff. They need to lock down the tight ends. That's pretty much the linebackers. Lock down the tight ends, help the D-line with the run. Now moving to the secondary, I want to see Darius Slay bounce back. Last week he had a little bit of a disappointing week. He needs to lock down Stephon Diggs. Whoever he's lining up against, he needs to lock them down. And the other guys, Diggs needs to... He's kind of had his season's kind of been up and down. I don't know how to really to describe his season besides up and down. He needs to get more ups if he wants to prove that he has a place in this team, and we don't need to go after cornerbacks. But Nevin Lawson was a pleasant surprise last week. I saw his name a lot. Saw him in tackles, or good tackles, not like where he's getting burned and makes a tackle, but keeping the play in front of him. He looked like he did a pretty good job of that last week, and so continuing on that with the Vikings would be great. Raphael Bush had an interception last week. You know, we switch in Raphael Bush and Tavon Wilson at that strong safety spot. So if they both can continue to play the way they've been playing, they've both been playing pretty well, it'd be good. Glover Quinn is right now the captain of our defense. He's probably the best defensive player after Ansah, skill-wise and physical-wise. So keep him. He needs to keep working on that, keep leading the defense. He's probably, like I said, probably our second best player on the defense, if not our best, with the way Ansah's kind of been injured this year. And then Miles Kilbrew has just been killing it lately, especially the last game. He didn't have a lot of snaps, but the snaps he did have, he made a huge impact on third downs, getting the tackles. Their own line's almost playing him in that hybrid safety linebacker role lately, like a Seattle Seahawks safety plays. I can't remember his name right now, but the way he plays, he's kind of goes in and out, almost like an old Roman Harper type player. That's the kind of thing I would compare a Killebrew to, and if he can continue that, he's definitely got a role on this team. Definitely good progression for his rookie year. Matt Prater, still I'd say one of the best kickers in the NFL. He had a point after block last week, but that's why they moved him back, so give the other team more of a chance to block and make the field goal kickers miss. So not really too concerned about that. We didn't lose the game by 1, so that was always a good thing. But Sam Martin is arguably the best punter in the NFL. Not even arguably. I'm going to say he is. He's worth every dollar the Lions have paid him this offseason to extend his contract. And Andre Roberts, he's definitely one of those hit or miss on the punt returns and kick returns. Now that he stopped taking the ball out of the end zone when it's been an obvious touchback, it's been great. But like last week, he muffed a punt, gave the possession to the Jaguars. They got 3 points off of it. Next time he got a punt, he took it to the house for 6 points. So it's one of those things you just got to kind of watch. He's not one of the elite punt returners or kick returners. He does his job though. So I was calling for his job at the beginning of the season. Tunes kind of changed. I kind of like him around. So coaching wise, just don't make mistakes. Make a game plan, stick to the game plan, and if the game plan's not working, then you got to change it. Go crazy. Don't take your foot off the pedal though. That's what the Lions have been doing. Every game they come in like this lead at halftime, or the game they'll be tied at halftime, and then now we go into the fourth quarter, we're down by 7 or we're down by whatever. We build a lead, keep building the lead. Don't slow down. Keep it hot. Stay on fire. Don't give another team a chance to get back in the game by slowing down. And yeah, I think I said slow down enough. But coaching wise, this team's pretty well coached. I know a lot of people don't like Jim Caldwell and his emotionless stance, but I think it's kind of refreshing to see a guy who doesn't freak out after every play. Cough, Jim Schwartz. But yeah, my prediction for this week I think it's gonna be something similar to the first game. The first game was 26-16, like I said earlier. I think it's going to be like a 21-17. The Lions close win again. That's just how I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be a Lions close win, a 21-17 type score. So yeah, early game this week. It's on Thursday, Thanksgiving. Lions been doing this since 34. It's the 77th anniversary of the Thanksgiving game. So 34, 36. No. 34. I don't know. Whatever. We've been playing on Thanksgiving for a very long time. So 40s. It's been in the 40s. 40 something. Whatever. So anyways, if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me some comments, just talk about the game, talk about the preview. If you're a Vikings fan, I don't bite. If you want to talk about the game, I'll talk about the game. Tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right, whatever. And I will see you guys for the recap on hopefully Thursday, if the day doesn't go too crazy with the game, Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So other than that, have a good Thanksgiving, everyone. If you're not from America, have a good Thursday. So all right, I will see you guys all for the recap. See ya.